All right, guys, so we're back with another video here today. And today we're going to be talking about mindfulness in plain English. So let's start with what is mindfulness? Mindfulness and meditation go hand in hand. But I'm going to get to the bottom of this. And if you're a beginner, you've never meditated before, maybe you don't even know what mindfulness is, this is going to be the video for you. This is going to be plain and simple, exactly what I've been talking about and exactly what you need to hear to really understand what this is about. Even if you don't want to do it, it's important for you to really know this so that if you do want to do it in the future, or if you find times in your life where you want to do it, then it's going to be very beneficial for you, okay? So let's get right into it. Number one, there is a subtle difference in being aware of your thoughts and thinking thoughts. Okay, there's a subtle difference between being aware of your thoughts and thinking thoughts. So when you're thinking thoughts, the difference is you're actually thinking it and you're like a part of it, right? You're like almost like the thought and you is the same thing. But when you're aware of the thought, it means you see the thought like kind of separate. Like you see this like little this bubble here of like your thought. Let's say, for example, you know, when you watch cartoons, you see like the little bubble of what they're thinking, right? And you're kind of looking at it and you're observing it as if it's not you, it's separate. There's a big difference. You're either the thought, it says subtle, but it's actually big, okay? There's the thought, right? Let's say the thought is in your mind, and then there's you being the observer of that thought. I'm not gonna get too deep into this because these next points coming up are really gonna get deeper, and we're gonna talk more about this in a second after I read through some of this. Number two, in mindfulness, you don't judge. You just observe experiences like a scientist without commentary inside your mind. Okay, so in mindfulness, you don't judge. You're just observing experiences like a scientist, right? Without any commentary inside your mind. So that's the important thing with mindfulness and meditation. It's no commentary. There's no commentary inside your mind. You're being more present. And even the thoughts you're having, you're being aware of the thoughts, right? You're not the thoughts, but you're aware of the thoughts. You see them kind of floating around your mind. You see them, you're like, huh, that's an interesting one. Maybe I'll keep that thought. Or this thought, whatever. We'll let this thought kind of float by, right? So you're not judging anything, and you're also not commenting. You're not actively thinking, I'll let this thought flow by. Like I just said, you're not actually thinking and commentating that in your mind. You literally are just letting it kind of flow by, right? So you're aware of these thoughts. This is all gonna make more sense now as we get into number 3 and number 4, okay? Number 3, this is an important one to really make sense of it so you can really understand exactly what's going on here. So this is an example about yourself, thinking about yourself, okay? If you are remembering your second grade teacher, that is a memory, okay? If you're remembering your second grade teacher, that's a memory. When you become aware that you are remembering your second grade teacher, that is mindfulness, okay? Let me know in the comments if you guys see that difference, or if you can't see it. Let me know if you can't see the difference, or if you can see the difference, and let's talk from there. So if you're remembering your second grade teacher, it comes up, it's a thought, right? You're like, that's a memory. You're remembering that second grade teacher, and you're not separate from it. It's just like, you're thinking about it, it's a thought, it's a memory, right? It's inside your mind. But when you become aware that you are thinking and remembering your second grade teacher, let's say you're aware of it now. Now you're remembering your second grade teacher and you're like, huh. And you're observing it. Oh, my second grade teacher. You're not commentating about it. You're not like, oh, that's my second grade teacher, but you're like observing it as a thought. Like you realize it's a thought, you're aware of it. Because a lot of our thoughts, we're just like unconsciously thinking them and we're not aware, in that moment that this thought is happening, or we're not observing that thought or anything like that. It's almost like it's a part of us. So that's that subtle difference we talked about, right? That's that subtle difference we talked about, where the subtle difference is, you're having the thought, or, right, you're aware of thinking the thought. You're like aware of the thought. So the big difference is one is just happening and you're not aware of anything. And then the mindfulness is when you're actually aware that this thought is here and you're looking at it objectively. That's the key, right? You're looking at it objectively. This thought is here, right? Okay. Number 4, let's get into this last one, then we'll bring everything together. Mindfulness is not trying to achieve anything. It's just looking. Okay, so with mindfulness, you're not trying to achieve anything. There's no end goal. You're just simply looking. Okay, let that sink in. Let that sink in for a second. And now I want to wrap up with everything combined here and give you a couple of examples of what mindfulness actually looks like in practice. So first off, mindfulness can be done anywhere, anytime, while doing anything. Absolutely anything. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're unloading the dishwasher. Something as simple as unloading the dishwasher, right? This is something you can try now. Literally now you can try it right after this video. Unloading the dishwasher. Let's say usually when you're unloading the dishwasher, you're unloading it, you're like, oh, when is, like you're having this commentary inside your mind maybe. Like, oh, when is this shit gonna be over with, blah, blah, blah. Or you're thinking about something else, you're thinking about what you're gonna do, let's say later tonight, or you're thinking about what happened this morning, or whatever, right? So in mindfulness, you're not doing that. You're literally so present with the moment. So I'll tell you how you do it. So let's say you're unloading the dishwasher. You look at the dish. You grab it with your hand. You're feeling how it feels as you're grabbing this dish in your hand. You're looking at the texture of the plate, the color of it. You're not commentating anything, but you're kind of observing it. You're feeling the touch. You're actually there, present with the moment. You're feeling it. You can feel the plate, right? You bring it up. You're looking at the plate. You're looking at the touch. You're observing it like a scientist, and it's coming down without commentary, though, right? And then you put it down. You're listening to the noise it makes when it comes onto like a different plate that you just stacked it on top of, right? You're picking up a glass, and you're feeling that sensation that the glass has around your hand, right? You're feeling that sensation. Maybe it's a little warm. It just came out of the dishwasher. And you put it down. You're looking at the shape of it. You're listening to the way it kind of, as you place it in its place, you're listening to that noise that it makes, like, right? So you're just so present. You're so present with it. You're touching everything. You're feeling everything. You're observing everything. It's here, right? But there's no commentary, right? So mindfulness basically means presence. Okay? It's the same. Mindfulness is presence, right? But presence doesn't necessarily mean you're not thinking anything. Because you can be present and your mind is going to do whatever it wants, right? It has thoughts. But now you're aware of the thoughts. You're not judging it. You're just looking at the thoughts. No end goal. There's no end goal, right? These are the thoughts. Right? You're just looking at it. You're observing it. You're being with it. And in anything you do, right? Let's say if you're working out, you can be mindful while you're working out. Let's say you're doing some pull-ups. You're noticing the sensations in your arms as you're pulling down and up, right? You're noticing all the feelings of it. You're not like thinking to yourself, oh God, I can't wait to get this over with. You're not thinking to yourself, what are you going to do after that? What's the meal you're going to have after that? What's going to be this? What's going to be that? You're just there with the burn, with the sensations in your arms. and you're absolutely 100% present with that. And you're feeling it, you're observing it, you're like, ooh, you know, you're actually there. You're actually there, you're actually present. No commentary inside the mind, no judgments. You're not thinking about last night, you're not thinking about tomorrow night, okay? This is mindfulness. When you're using all of your senses to be in the present moment, okay? And if you're trying to do this, if you're like struggling to do this, you don't want to come from a place where you're struggling to do it. You should just allow this to happen, okay? And if you're trying to do it, you're trying to be mindful as you're doing things, like let's say you're doing a little something, maybe you're cleaning the house, whatever it is, whatever you're doing, and you're trying to be mindful, and if it's not working, and you're like, it's not working, like blah, 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 that's not the point. It's not about working or not working. That's the place you want to be at with mindfulness. It's not about working or not working, okay? It's just about the being and nothing more, nothing less. And that's actually one of the biggest rules with meditation. After reading the amount of books I've read on meditation, that's the number one thing I took away. Don't ever judge your meditation. Like after a meditation, you're like, oh, that was a good meditation. I sunk deep in it. Or that was a bad meditation because I was thinking too much. There was too many thoughts flowing. No. No judgments. None. You meditated, and now you're done meditating. Good, bad, sideways, ugly, there's nothing. That's the number one rule with meditation, mindfulness, anything. You are not allowed to judge it. You don't judge it. That's it. Just don't judge it. Okay? And that's it. That's basically a wrap. And if anyone watched this video and they're still confused as to what mindfulness is, what do I mean by presence or meditation or anything like that, please challenge me in the comments. Let me know. Like, I'm confused at this part. So can you explain this a little bit more? Or, you know, I didn't understand. Yeah, I didn't understand a certain something, right? So let's get deeper into it and I'll answer your questions just to see which part of it doesn't make any sense. And if it makes sense, leave a comment anyways. Let me know if you are doing things mindfully. Maybe you're doing things mindfully and you don't even realize it, right? You don't even realize it. Because sometimes we're being mindful and we don't realize it. It's usually during like excruciating activities. For example, like when you're playing a pickup basketball game, 5-on-5, and it's nonstop, like, your mind is stimulated, you're being mindful throughout the whole time. There's no time to think. There's no time to think and commentate while you're playing a full court game of basketball. There's no time to go inside your mind, think, commentate, judge. You're forced into the present moment. It's forced onto you, right? But you want to get to a place where you don't have to be forced into it from like excruciating activity, where it's just like you're doing something, you're running a marathon so fast that there's no time, you literally can't think of anything. You want to be at that place where you can sit on the couch, relax, do absolutely nothing, but be aware of everything around you. Be aware of your breathing as it goes in and it goes out. You feel all the sensations. You're aware of the breathing. You're right here in the moment. You're not thinking about anything. That's the end goal, to get to that place as much as possible. But like we talked about, in previous videos and this video, you can't be too hard on yourself with this because your mind is always gonna, drift off and kind of do whatever it wants to do, essentially. So you never want to be too hard on yourself with this stuff. Like, I'm not doing it right. No judgments. Just try. Whenever you become aware, maybe you could become aware of a thought, or maybe you're sitting down, you have nothing to do. Take a couple of deep breaths and just notice what's around you. And if some commentary comes up in your mind, right, which sometimes will, some kind of commentary, you might have a commentary like, what the hell am I doing? That might be a certain commentary you have. As soon as you realize that commentary, just shut it off for a second and just try to bring yourself back into the present. Not try to force it, but try to allow yourself to come and flow back into the present moment, okay? Just test it out. That's all I'm saying. Just test it out every once in a while. Maybe you're in a waiting room at a doctor's office, whatever it is. Whenever you have time, just like try to relax yourself into this mindfulness meditation, all right, into the present moment. Let me know how it goes. Like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.